Everyone, good morning. Morning, Ravi, Sai, Kiran, and Srinivas. Can you hear me?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can able to hear.
Okay, so today we'll talk about templates. Okay. So what are these templates in JMeter? So under file, we have these templates. And there are many templates. And what is the use of a template? What is the template actually? Template is used to reuse. If there are any activities, repeated activities, and if we want to reuse those activities again and again, we need a template so that our tasks will be a little quicker, right? So we have in JMeter also, we have many templates, many default templates we have. Under file templates, we have these templates. So these are the templates, and if you select a web test plan, building a web test plan, I'll click on create and see it created a test plan. And in this test plan, you have cookie manager, header manager, and a home page, think time, and everything. So this is a default template which has been created by this JMeter. And there are many such templates in JMeter. So you have bean shell sampler template, web test plan template, FTP test plan template, many such templates. And also, one important thing is we can also create custom templates in JMeter. So I'll tell you in this class how to create this custom template and what is the advantage of creating this custom templates. Okay. So how are we creating a script? So we are adding a thread group, and inside that we are adding transaction controllers like this, and we are naming this controllers, one as launch, login, sign in, say log off. Okay. So these are the 4 transactions which we are creating. And what else we need to have? We need to have a listener, and we have a listener already. Okay. And you need HTTPS test script recorder. Okay. And we also need an aggregate report to run the load test, right? And I am adding aggregate report. What else you need? That's it, right? Yes, good. So we need key manager and also a cache manager, right? And what else you need? And you need to do request filtering. I mean, you need to exclude these things, right? What else you need to exclude here? Dot star right? So this is how we are creating a script, right? This is how we are creating a script. But in your projects, you will end up in creating many scripts. You will have fund transfers, you will have bill payment scripts, you have many scripts. Okay. So every time You need to add a thread group. You need to add all these transaction controllers. You need to add cookie manager, cache manager. You need to do this request filtering. You need to add these listeners and all that, right? And also you can add, you need to add think time also here, right? So all these will take some time, right? For each and every script. So that is why it is always better in your projects to create a custom filtering. So you can save this particular script as a template, like not custom filtering. It is always good to create a template. Okay, you can save this particular script as a template, and you can use the template any number of times. Whenever you are creating a script, open this template and create your script straight away. Without, if you don't have these templates, you keep forgetting few things like this request filtering. Sometimes you will forget to do this filtering. Sometimes you will forget to add this cookie manager and cache manager. All these things will be there. So in order to avoid that, it is always better to create templates in your JMeter. So how do you? And as I said, you have default templates like this, and you can also create a custom template. So now I am creating a custom template. So I have created my script. This is my template. I haven't recorded anything. This is my template. This is what I need before recording a script, right? So now I am going to save this particular script as a as a template, right? I'll say save test plan as, and I can save my templates here. See, under JMeter bin folder, you have so this is a JMeter file, right? Under JMeter bin, you have templates. Okay. Under templates, see, you have many templates. These are the default templates, which I showed you earlier. I already showed you the default templates. Those are these. Now I am saving a custom template. So you can name your custom template. I am naming it as perf practice template. Okay. Perf practice.jms. And I have saved my template. Okay. So I have saved my template. So now, can you see the template here? You're seeing all these default templates, right? Right from bean shell sampler, building a soap and all that. So all the templates which are saved here, you are seeing those templates here, right? But are you seeing the template which you saved earlier? Like what template you saved? Perf practice.jmx. Are you seeing it now? No, still you are not seeing. So though you saved your template, you are not seeing that in your drop down, because there is one more step which you need to do. Okay. So what you need to do is, after saving your template, after saving your JMX file under templates, the next step what you need to do is go to this templates, and here you will find an XML document. So this is templates XML document. Okay, you need to open this XML document. So I'm opening this XML document under Notepad++. Okay. And here is where you will find all the templates. See, this is an XML document. If you observe clearly, you will find all the templates here. See, this is one template. Recording with think time. You can see this particular template here. Recording with, right? And what else you have in this XML document? JDBC load test, right? And again, if you go back, you can see JDBC load test here, right? JDBC load test. So you have all these template names under this XML document, right? So the same way you need to create, the one which you added right now. what else? What you have added? Practice.jmx template, right? So that also you need to add in this template. Since that is not there in this XML file, that is the reason it is not opening in that dropdown. So you need to add that. Okay. See, bean shell sampler. All these are the default templates. So now you are adding a custom template. So you need to add that in this XML file. Okay. So go down completely. And if you observe, see, each and every template is starting with a tag and ending with a tag. See, all the templates are starting with templates tag, and each and every template is starting with the template. See, this is first template. This template name is recording. It is starting tag is template and ending with template. And this is my second template. It is starting. This template name is recording with think time. Again, starting with template and this is ending with template. And this is my third one. Same way, right? So what you need to do in order to create a new template, you need to add your template name in this XML document, right? So copy this, one of these templates. I'm just copying this template, this one. From starting tag of template to ending tag of template. I'm just copying this. Okay. This is just a JDBC load test template. I'm just copying that. I'm going to the end of this file. Okay. And where I need to paste? I need to paste here, right? I should not paste this under this template because this is the parent template. This is the parent template. This is the parent of all your templates. So this is the parent tag. So you need to paste it before that parent. Say, so I have copied that and pasted here, right? So this is the one which you pasted now. Okay. So now you need to name your, give a name to your template. So I will say my performance test practice, my performance test practice. Okay, I'm just naming it like this, right? And now you need to, this is the name of your template. Now you need to give the file name. So what is the file name? Go here. So you need to give that. So perf practice.jmx, and where do you have that? Under bin templates, right? So I am giving this under bin templates and perf practice.jmx, right? So now my script name, this is my template name, and this is my template path. And remaining things you don't need to change anything. Okay, so now you have saved your template already. So this is my template. So now you need to save this particular XML file. So I have saved this and I'm closing this. So now this XML file is now updated. If you see, if you refresh this, see, this has been updated with the current date. So now this templates.xml file has been successfully updated. Are you still, now you can check if you are seeing this under templates. Go here, again, open the templates. See if you are seeing this. What is the name? My performance test. Are you seeing it? No, still you are not seeing it. That is because you need to restart your JMeter. If you are changing anything in your JMeter bin folder, any file, if you are changing, you need to restart the JMeter. Then only it will reflect in the JMeter, right? So now, restart. Under file, you have restart option. There you can restart directly. So I have restarted my JMeter. And now you need to go to templates My performance is practice, right? Select that and create and see it open, right? Launch, login, sign in, log off, HTTPS test script recorder, and here you have all the filtering part and everything. You have samplers and whatever you want to add, you can add here, including think times, including pacing, including precise throughput timer, everything. Whatever you want, you can add, and you can create that as a template, and you can reuse it any number of times. Okay. So that is the advantage of template. Let me create a quick script before I go to the next topic.
Yes, the field was here.
So recorded successfully, right? So this is how you need to do in your projects also. Create a template, give a request, filtering and all that, so that it will get easier for you, right? Okay. And one more thing, what I want to mention before I go to the elements topic is, yesterday I've created one script, right? What is that script? Login, and after that creating a customer, adding a customer, and after that I'm deleting a customer, right? And I have given the username as like this, She5, and first name something, and last name something like this, right? And She6, right? This is what I gave yesterday, right? And I'm running this with 15 users, right? Like this. And I ran the script with 15 users yesterday. I ran a test with 15 users. I showed you aggregate report and all that. But do you think that test is really working? Do you see any errors? No errors, right? But do you think it is working really? So what email ID we give in that script? How did we give the email ID?
First name and last name.
First name and last name. That means nan1 at the rate, like this, nan1 at the rate vm1 dot, right? Fine. This is the email ID which we gave, and I ran the script with 15 users. Fine. So so when I'm running with 15 users, I gave pacing as one user every 3 seconds. That means the first user She5 will log in first, and it will log in and try to add the customer. But while adding the customer, which email ID it will use? This one, right? Fine. And after 3 seconds, this user will also log in. Like after 3 seconds, this user will also log in. Like with the gap of every 3 seconds, all the users will log in, and all the users will register, will try to add the customer with different email IDs. Like this user will take nan2 at the rate, right? So it will take like this, right? Now tell me, there is some issue with this particular execution, with yesterday's execution. Can anyone guess that? Okay, that is creating successfully. It will only create successfully in the first iteration. See what is happening here. We are running with 15 users. We are running with this test with 15 users, and all these users will log in around the same time with 3 seconds gap, right? and they will do first iteration. After first iteration, are they sitting quietly? Because I gave 10 minutes duration, they will go for second iteration. So each and every user will do second iteration. So what is happening in second iteration? They are trying to pick the same email ID. So what will happen if they pick the same email ID? What error we got yesterday? And Ravi or something mentioned yesterday. Ravi, I think Ravi or Kiran. Right? We are getting an error like this email ID is existing already. Right? That is what that. Huh?
Not one. Email ID is one.
Because it's we already gave it. We already gave it. So that is why. So what will happen with this test if we run with 15 users? It will run only successfully for only one iteration. From second iteration onwards, it will not register, it will not add any customer, it will not delete any customer. That means login, that means launch will be successful. Login will be successful. Sign in will be successful. And menu, what that menu? Account. My account menu will be successful. And after that, add customer, it will fail. It will only pass for first iteration. And from second iteration onwards, it will fail, but it is not showing any failures. Okay, I'll come to that. And again, delete is also failing. Both these add and delete customers are failing from second iteration, right? And it is giving us an aggregate report. How many times it ran? Every transaction, how many times it ran? Around 140, 150 times it ran, right? Even add customer also ran 150 times. Delete customer also ran 150 times. And it is giving some response times. Now tell me, are those response times valid response times? No, because successful add customer and successful delete customers are happening only once in the first iteration. From second iteration onwards, it's not happening. So, but still it will give response times, but we cannot consider those response times are as genuine response time, because from second iteration onwards, it is not adding customer, it is not deleting customer, because we are using same email ID and again and again. Okay. So for that, we have an option in JMeter. To avoid that, we have an option in JMeter under config elements. We have something called counter. I will tell this practically when I go to this topic. So what you'll do with counter is, counter looks like this. You have to give starting value. I will give starting value as 1 and incremental value as 1, and maximum value I'll give it as 1 lakh. Okay. I will say format like this. Okay. And I need to save this as a variable. I will say my counter or something. Any name you can give. So what is happening here is every iteration, this value will increment. This value will start with 1. That means this value will start with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And second iteration, it will become 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2. Third iteration, it will become 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 3. Like that, it will increment. It will increment to 1 lakh. Okay. And you can give this my counter. You can copy this my counter. And where you can give this my counter? Wherever you are parameterizing this email ID, right? Email ID, how you are parameterizing? First name @ last name.com, right? You will parameterize like this, right? Dollar P first name @ again dollar P last name.com. This is what I gave yesterday, right? And what you can do is you can give a counter here. Whatever counter we just, yes, that one you can give dollar my. So what will happen? You give like this. I'm just adding dollar my counter here. So what will happen? It will take VAM1 at the rate like an NAN1 at the rate VAM1, and after that it will take this counter 0000001 dot. It will take that in the first iteration, right?
Yeah,
The
sir,
second
Srinivas
iteration
here.
for the same user
Hello.
will take 0000002. Third iteration will take 0000003. Like that, it will take until 1 lakh. Anyway, we are not going to do 1 lakh transactions. So that
Hello.
is how you need to give in these kind of situations. Okay, I'll show this practically later. So again, before I go to the element part, I want to talk about logs. I want to talk about JMeter logs. You have this symbol, warning symbol like this, right? So this is nothing but logs. You just need to click here. See, the logs will open. So whatever you are running, the logs behind that will be captured here, right? See, the log viewer is selected. So you are seeing this log viewer. So by default, see, there are many different log viewers here. So default log viewer is info, will give info, but you have many log viewers here. You have warning, you have error, battle, debug, trace, all, right? If I give info and if I run this, see, so I have cleared, all the logs are cleared. So now I am just running this. So the run is completed. And what is it giving us in the logs? It is not giving anything. It is just giving the thread name, like the thread group. Only one thread is running. That means one user. He ran it with only one user, and all that information it is giving. Okay. It will not give, the info won't give anything more than that. It will just give the information of your threads, and that's it. But you have many other options here. If you select debug, let's see what will happen. Okay, like if for example, I'll select trace. Okay, I'll clear this and I'll run once again and see what is happening when I'm selecting trace. So you are getting the server response also here. When I select info, you are not getting any server related responses. But when I select trace, you are getting your server related responses also. See, what cookies are you passing? Like whatever you are getting from the server, see, you are getting HTTP 200 OK screen and all that. Whatever you are getting in the server, all these headers and all that you are seeing in your log viewer. So that way, you have different log viewers, but we never usually touch this. We'll make it as always as info, right? Always it will be info. So on need basis, we need to select this trace and all that, right? So if you want to know the server response, if you want to display your server response in your logs, if you want to capture your server response, you can select a trace and run your script so that you can see the server response in your logs also. So let me talk about elements from today. So I will start with thread group, and after that samplers, logic controllers, pre-process, post-process. Mostly one element I'll take one day. Okay. If I start samplers, I'll continue with samplers for that whole day, like for that 1 hour. And Tomorrow I'll start with logic controllers. I'll cover all the logic controllers, pre-process, post-process, like that. Okay. So let me start with the thread group today. Okay. Under thread group only, we can add all these elements: samplers, logic controllers, pre-processor, post-processor, assertions, timers, all these listeners and all that we can add under thread group. But you need to know what is thread group first. You already know why we are using thread group, right? Why are we using thread group? Thread group is equivalent to one script, right? Yes, it's a test case. You can consider your thread group as a test case. And what you are declaring in the thread group, you are declaring your users in the thread group, right? So you can increase this user count. You see number of threads here. Threads are nothing but users. That's why you are seeing brackets. Inside the brackets, you are seeing users. So threads are nothing but number of users. You can make it 100. So this test will run with 100. You make it 1000. This test will run with 1000 users, right? So you can increase the number of users here. And you have something called ramp up here. And as I said before, if you are running your test with 10 users, you need to give ramp up as 30, right? So every time one user, 3-second ramp up should be there at least, right? You are running a test with 10 users. That means each user should ramp up for every 3 seconds, right? So first user will take 3 seconds. Second user will take again 3 seconds. That means with 60 second, in 60 second it will log in. Third user, in 9th second it will log in. Like that, you need to give your ramp up period. So when you are running with 10 users, 10 into 3, 30 is the ramp up which you need to give. So what will happen if you don't give this? All 10 users will try to log in within 1 second. So your server might crash, because in the load test you will run with thousands of users. So if you don't give ramp up, your server will crash. So this ramp up is very important. And this is loop count. So you can increase your loop count to 10, 20, like 20, anything. So what will happen? If you give 10 here, so all these 10 users will run for 10 iterations. But you will never use this loop count in your actual tests. In your actual test, you will never use this loop count, because you are running your load test for a certain duration, right? Like you are running load test for how much duration? 1 hour. That means 3600 seconds, right? So this is what you need to give in your thread group settings, not the loop count. So always you need to disable this loop count. Select this infinite, and this field will get disabled, and you need to specify the thread life limit. Here you need to give your thread, you need to give your test duration. If it is a load test, you need to run this for how much duration? 1 hour. That means this duration will be in seconds, so you need to give 3600 seconds, right? And disable this. That's it. So this is how your thread group settings should look like when you are running a load test. If you are running with 100 users, 100, 300, 3600, right? Fine. But here you have different actions to be taken after a sampler error. What is this action to be taken after a sampler error? What this mean? What is a sampler? Sampler is nothing but these are samplers, right? These are your samplers. Avuna? So all these are your samplers. So what it is saying is, whenever a sampler fails, what action you need to take? You can also give that setting also in your thread group, right? So by default, we are giving continue. We'll never change this, but we have different options here. Okay. So whenever you, for example, whenever your sampler is failing, okay. For example, your login is failing. Your login transaction is failing. If you give continue, though it is failing, it will continue to the next sampler, right? But you have different options here. Start next thread loop. If you select this, what will happen? If you select this, what will happen? It will go to the next thread loop. Okay. With how many threads you are running this? 100 threads, right? For example, you are running this with 100 users. For example, if the 5th user has some login issue, and if you give continue, though it has a login issue, it will run. It will keep on running with failure. Okay. But if you select this second option, if the 5th user is failing, it will stop there and it will go to the next iteration. Okay. It will stop there and it will go to the next iteration. If you select this option, stop thread, what will happen? It will stop that particular user. It will never run that user again. If the 5th user is failing, that user will completely drop and your test will run with only 99 users. That 5th user will never run again. That is what this option is all about. Stop thread. That thread will stop completely. No. Start next thread loop indicates that if your 5th user is failing, it will stop the test. If it will stop the iteration at login, it will not continue to the dashboard. It will not go to the dashboard. It will stop here. It will go to the next iteration. With the same user, again, it will go to the launch page. It will go to login because the same user launch and login are successful. Only at sign in it is failing. So there is no harm in running your launch and login, right? So the same user launch and login will happen. And at sign in, login will happen and login will fail. And again, it will stop there. It will not go to the dashboard page. It will again go back. Okay. Ravi, Saikaran, and Srinivas, Sri, I hope you are following.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the difference between start next thread loop and stop thread. If you give stop thread, that particular user will stop complete, won't run. Okay. And stop test. If there is any sampler error, it will stop the complete test. Okay. Stop test now. And what is the difference between stop test and stop test now? So for example, you are running a test with 100 users like this, and I'll start a test. Your test is started. It is running like this. So you have two things here. After starting, you have two things here. One is stop and one is shutdown. This is stop and this is shutdown. Okay. If I click on stop, this test will stop immediately within no time. Okay. Within less than a second, it will stop immediately. Okay. Again, I'm running this test. So previously I clicked on stop, it stopped immediately. Now I will try to click on shutdown. Okay, it also stopped immediately. But the difference between the stop and shutdown is stop will stop your test then and there. But shutdown will ramp down your users. That means if you are running your test with 1000 users, the users will slowly ramp down. And only after that your test will stop. Okay, whenever you want to stop your test in between, if you are running your test with 1000 users, 1000 user test is going on. If you want to stop your test, if you click on shutdown, what will happen is all the users will ramp down slowly. Okay, and after that your test will stop. If you click on stop, if you click on shutdown, if you click on stop, the test will stop immediately then and there. So it is always recommended to shut down your load test, not stop the test immediately. Okay. So that is what these two options are all about. Okay. Stop test indicates shutdown, and stop test now indicates stop. Stop test now indicates stop. This will stop immediately. If you select this stop test, it will shut down slowly. But anyway, we'll rarely select these options. We'll always go for continue. We'll always go for continue. Because we give several text checks. Whenever there is an error, we'll give several text checks. So there is no harm in selecting continue. So we always give, in most of the cases, we'll give continue. Okay. But these are the different options which you have in your thread group. Okay. So let me come to samplers. So see, this is a normal thread group, default thread group, which you'll get by installing the JMeter. But there are several thread groups again. So you have different thread groups called ultimate thread group. Okay. Stepping thread group. I think throughput thread group or something will be there. Okay, these thread groups are also there. So when you are running your test, you have to use these thread groups only, but not this particular thread group. You can also use this thread group, but it is always recommended to use these thread groups. But you will not have these thread groups by default in your JMeter. You have only normal thread group and setup thread group and terror thread group. I'll explain you later, but you have currently only normal thread group. But where are these thread groups? Ultimate thread groups, stepping thread group, and throughput thread group. So these thread groups doesn't come by default. You need to install plugins for this. Okay. So if you go here and Google thread group plugins for JMeter. So custom plugins. Okay. So I just Googled thread group plugins for JMeter. That's it. And I just opened the first link and you got this page, right? And what thread groups you have here? Stepping thread group, ultimate thread group, concurrency thread group. This is what I mean. So I mentioned throughput thread. No, it's concurrency thread group, and arrival thread group, freeform thread group, and something. Okay. So you don't have all these thread groups. So you need to install this particular plugin. Then only you will get all those thread groups. Okay. So let me install that. So you have all these versions, and the latest version is 2.10. So I'm just downloading this 2.10. Okay. So it downloaded in a zip file. Let me unzip this. Okay. So this is what you see. Inside that you have library folder, and inside that you have ext and this. So what folder it is? Lib, right? Under lib you have one file, right? So you copy that particular file and go to your Go to your JMeter. Under JMeter, you will find lib. Okay. Open this, and the one which you copied earlier, that is under lib, right? The one which you copied here is under lib. You copied this and paste it under JMeter lib folder. Okay, that is your first step. And what else you have under this? ext folder also. Open this, and under ext you will find two more jar files. Copy these two jar files and go again. Come back to the JMeter. Under lib JMeter, under zip you have one ext file here also. Open that. Paste it here. Okay, this is done. And what is your next step? As I said before, whenever you do any changes in your JMeter directories, you need to restart your JMeter. Then only it will apply. Otherwise, you still can't see anything under your thread group. Still, you are seeing only normal thread group here. So, what you need to do, you need to restart. I'm restarting. And now, see, so you are seeing different thread groups now. Stepping thread group, ultimate thread group, okay, and arrivals thread group, concurrency thread group, freeform arrivals thread group, and all that, right? So, generally, we use ultimate thread group in our projects, right? So let me add this ultimate thread group and see it looks like a different thread group. Our normal. So this is our. I'm just opening the previous scripts. This is our normal thread, right? This is our thread group which we have used till now. But now I am adding ultimate thread group. It is looking like different. It is different from your normal thread group, right? So here, how you need to use your ultimate thread group is to add a row. Just click on add row, and here with how many users we gave? 100. What is our ramp up? 300. What is our test duration? 3600. That's what you need to give here. And here the options are a little different. See, start threads count. So it will be your number of users. You need to give 100 here. Okay. And startup time. This indicates ramp up. The startup time indicates ramp up. Here you need to give 300, right? And hold the load for so and so seconds. So hold the load indicates the test duration. Now, what is our test duration? 3600. That's what you need to give here. And just observe the graph here. It is changing whenever we are giving. So what do you need to give? 3600. And our graph changed again. And shutdown. And shutdown is nothing but your ramp down. Okay. And I am giving the same 300 as my ramp down also. See, this is how your graph should look like. Okay. And the advantage of this particular ultimate thread group is it is very helpful for you to do spike tests. Okay. How do you do spike tests? You will suddenly increase the load, right? How do you suddenly increase the load if you use normal thread group? Is there any option there? No. You cannot suddenly increase the load. But by using this ultimate thread group, you can do all those tweaks. You can suddenly increase the load, right? You can add one more row. Okay. You can say only 10 users, but like 100 users, fine. See, these kind of spikes you can do. Right? I ramped up with 100 users. Okay. Okay. I ramped up with 100 users. And in the second row, how much I gave? Again 100. So again, there is a big spike. And I am running that for only 60 seconds. If I make it 600, this will increase. Okay. If I make it 1800, this will run for half an hour, right? And after that, I can shut down. Since the shutdown time is only 10, it is, you are seeing a straight line here. You can make it 300 again. See, you'll see a difference. So all these tweaks and all you can make using this ultimate thread. So you can create spike test kind of scenarios also in ultimate. So ultimate, that is why this particular thread group name is ultimate thread group. So with this ultimate thread group, you can create any kind of test. You can use normal load test also in this ultimate thread group. So this is how you create a normal load test, right? 100 users, increasing your ramp up is 300. You're running your test for 3600 seconds and shutdown is for 300 seconds. And one more thing, what I want to say tell you here is, in normal thread group, if you run this normal thread group for 3600 seconds, this test will stop within 3600 seconds, right? But if you run this test in ultimate thread group, this test will stop only after 1 hour 10 minutes. The normal thread group will take only 1 hour. This will take 1 hour 10 minutes because this will consider your ramp up and ramp down time. This normal thread group will not consider your ramp down time and all properly. So that is one more advantage which you have in ultimate thread group. So it is always recommended from now to use ultimate thread group when you are practicing, when you are running your load tests, right? When you are creating your script, use normal thread group only. Okay. After creating the script, while you are running your tests, run everything under ultimate thread group. Okay. And I don't think remaining, see, step up and step down, set up thread group and tear down thread group I'll cover tomorrow. But I don't think remaining thread groups are so much important because the ultimate thread group came at the end. So this is the thread group with which you can do everything, right? For example, stepping thread group. See, stepping thread group also will give you the same picture, but you have different options here. That's it, right? See, this group will start with 100 users and you need to wait for what is our hold time? Here also you have your hold time, right? 3600 seconds is my hold time. And see, this is my ramp up. I'll say add one user for every 3 seconds. Here, I am giving my ramp up directly, like 100 users, and I am giving 300 seconds as ramp up, so that one user will ramp up every 3 seconds. Here, I have a separate option to add one user every 3 seconds. So I'm mentioning that one user every 3 seconds. Using a ramp up of 5 seconds, I can make it 3 seconds, or I can give 5 seconds. If you give 5 seconds, the ramp up will be little more. If I give 3 seconds, the ramp up will little reduce. Okay. So the test remains the same. And finally, stop the test one user every 3 seconds. So the graph looks similar. So you can use either stepping thread group and you can use ultimate thread group. But there are different advantages in stepping thread, ultimate thread group. So you can add number of rows, you can use spike test, you can do whatever you want in ultimate thread group. You don't have those facilities in your stepping thread group, right? And you have concurrency thread group also. So the target concurrency you can give. So it is asking ramp up in minutes. Correct, correct. Like it is the same, right? 100 users, and I have selected seconds here, and I have given ramp up as 300 seconds, so that it will, the ramp up is happening with one user every 3 seconds, and after that my whole time, that is my test duration. This is my test duration, that is 1 hour, 3600 seconds, right? Ramp up step count means, so if you give 10, see what is happening. It 10 users will ramp up, and it will, see 10 users are ramping up at 10 users will ramp up at same time, and after that it will wait for some time. Again 10 users will ramp up at same time. After that it will wait for some time. Again 10 users will ramp up at same time. Again it will wait for some 3 seconds. This sometime is nothing but 3 seconds, right? Since we gave ramp up time as 3 seconds. Okay. So if you give 5 users will ramp up at same time, it will wait for 3 seconds, right? No, not users. These are step counts. Step counts are nothing but, since we are running with 100 users, 100 divided by 5. That means will run with 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Within 5 steps, it will reach 100 count. If we are giving 10, within 10 steps, it will reach 100 count. We give 20, within 20 steps, it will reach the 100 count. So it will calculate automatically. It will choose like that. But these options are not needed actually. You can just give one user every 3 seconds, so that it will ramp up slowly. Okay. So these are different thread groups. But again, I'm saying ultimate thread group is what you need to choose when you are running your load tests, right? So what will happen if you run all this in ultimate thread group?
Sir, one question.
Yes.
In the sampler error, while telling about the sampler error,
Correct.
we said mostly we go with continue, right?
Correct. Correct.
So is there any reason, because if there is an error in a particular thread, we might, it is better to go with the next thread loop, right?
Correct. Your point is right. But we are giving something called assertions in all our samplers. So what assertions will do is, assertions is a different topic which I'll cover a couple of days later. But with these assertions, we will know where these samplers are failing, right?
Okay.
We will give some kind of loops and all that in the assertions, so that we'll know where the samplers are failing and we can track those. That is why we are giving continue. See what is happening, what will happen if we give start next thread loop and stop thread and all that. See what will happen is, if we give start next thread loop, your users, if your users are continuously failing, those users which are failing will go back and start with launch, right? Again.
Yeah.
That is what is happening with start next thread loop, right? If your user is failing at login, it will go back to the launch. At the same time, the different users are ramping up slowly, right?
Yeah.
So if you are running your test with 1000 users, for example, if your 5th user is failing at login, and if you gave this option as start next thread loop, what will happen? The same user again go back here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
The same way, if you have around 100 to 200 users which are failing like this, okay, if you have 100 to 200 users which are failing like this at login part, what will happen? All those 100 users will go back to the launch part, and all these users will try to log in at the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
So there is a
that time what will happen? Your server might crash and you will get high response times at launch page.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So for that reason, it is always recommended to give continue and write some, you have to give some assertions in your samplers to make those fail automatically using those assertions, and you'll have to give some loop counts, loops inside your samplers. So it is always recommended to give only continue option in your thread group.
Okay.
In rare cases, we give this start next thread loop and stop thread. Stop thread anyway will not give, because this will stop that particular thread completely, right? So if you give stop thread, what will happen? That thread will stop completely. So there is no point in doing that,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So
yes.
if a particular sampler might fail, see in your load test, it is not that all the samplers will pass every time, right? Sometimes you might get timeout issues and all that, right? If you are running with 500 users, if the fifth, for example, take an example that you are running your load test with 500 users. If your fifth user logged in successfully and it is doing transactions continuously for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, after 20-30 minutes, it has got some issue. It got some timeout issue at login. What will happen? If you give stop thread, that particular user will completely stop. It will not run again. And your load test will continue with 499 users only. But according to that issue, your fifth user failed only once, only after 20 minutes. Up to 20 minutes, it is fine. Maybe after that 20th minute, maybe after 30th minute also, it would have been fine. But you stopped that user. So you should not stop the user. Your target is to run your load test with 500 users. And that particular user logged in, launched successfully, logged in successfully. At some transaction, it took some high response time and you got some timeout issue. Maybe after 10 minutes, you might not get that issue. So it is not recommended to give these options. These, if you give stop thread, your load will reduce. Whenever it sees a sampler error, it will not run that particular user again. It will stop that user. So you should not reduce your load during your load test. You need to run with your target load, which is 1000 or 2000 or whatever. So it is always recommended to give this continue option and give some assertions on all that in your samplers and deal with it. Okay.
Okay, sir. We will do one example on that, sir, when we go to assertion.
Yes, we are going to do it. We are going to do it when I start the assertions topic. Okay. Then we will do it. Okay.
Thanks.
So this is all about thread groups. Tomorrow I'll tell you about samplers, and we can run a test tomorrow, and I'll show you completely about samplers and what we can see in sampler. Currently, you saw samplers. When we are running the test, you see this samplers coming in the view results tree like this, right? Right. So what is the sampler result? What is request? What is response? Okay, what you will see in response, what are request headers, what are response headers, all that we will learn tomorrow, and we can run a quick test tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Any doubts? Any other doubts? So hereafter we'll be using normal thread group, and on need basis, whenever we are doing a test, we can use ultimate thread group. Okay. Yes.
ఇప్పుడు మనము ఒకటే యూజర్ తీసుకున్నాం కదా, కానీ ఇక్కడ 100 యూజర్స్ అని చెప్పేసి మనం కౌంట్ లో ఇచ్చుకున్నాం. అయినా సరే టెస్ట్ రన్ అయ్యింది కదా, ఇలా కూడా
అది రన్ అవుతుంది. These here users are nothing but sessions. It will create 100 sessions in the database, maybe. Yeah. So that is why it is running. But in reality, we have to give CSV dataset config. There we have to give 100 users. Then only it will log in with 100 users. Currently, how it is taking? Since I gave user ID as Vamshi5, it is trying to log in with Vamshi5 100 times at the same time. Okay. This might be failing in the background. It will not give those failures until we give assertions. Assertions is a different element which I'll cover, but until we give assertions, it won't fail. See, in some projects, what will happen? We have, in most of the applications, we have session timeouts. We cannot log in with the same user. We cannot log in with the same user at the same time twice. I cannot log in with Vamshify at the same time. You cannot log in with Vamshify at the same time. You will get session. One of the users will get session timeout, right? So that is why we give CSV dataset config, and we have to maintain 100 users in that list. Okay. So currently, what is happening is, when I am running with 100 users, it is running with Vamshify 100 times. But that is not how you need to run your test. You need to maintain CSV dataset config. Okay, any other questions? Okay, fine, then we'll meet tomorrow.
Thanks.